Welcome back to the morning show. We're joined by our wise guy today. Matt, you emailed me yesterday and said, we haven't blown anything up in a while.
Right. And we've blown stuff up before, but I really like doing this.
Right.
And it's spring break for the U of I, so I get to have a little bit of fun too, because all my students are in Florida and all these fun
So they're
places.
not watching.
Right. So anyways, yeah, so I thought, and we could have a slightly different take on it this time. So we're going to do two different explosions.
Okay.
The first segment, we're going to blow up a bottle with liquid nitrogen, which we've done before in various ways, but we're just going to make a great big bang of it today. And in the second segment, we're going to use a fuel and actually ignite it and make a launcher for an egg.
What actually causes explosions?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Explosions typically are when you have some very rapidly expanding gas, typically. Okay, and so we're going to do that in two completely different ways. In the first segment here, we're going to pour a little bit of liquid nitrogen into this bottle. And remember what liquid nitrogen is. It's this very cold liquefied air, and it's about 300 below zero. Sorry, don't get that in your shoe.
Yeah.
And so that means that when it hits something which is room temperature, this stuff is much colder, room temperature is much warmer, so it boils very rapidly. So basically, if you put a little bit of liquid nitrogen in the bottle, it boils and pressure builds up, and then eventually the bottle ruptures because it can't handle the pressure anymore. So although it takes quite a long time, many seconds, for this stuff to go from being a liquid to being a gas, which takes up much more space than a liquid, the explosion happens very rapidly when the bottle busts. Okay? So here, the actual turning into a gas, a high-pressure gas, happens rather slowly, whereas in the second segment, when we do an ignition where we light something on fire, that happens very rapidly. Okay?
Okay, that's what my boss isn't watching today.
So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put this little bottle or this little thing of water in here. We're going to contain the explosion in this garbage can to make it a little bit safer, just a little bit safer. And then, so what we're going to do then is put the liquid in here, about this much. We're going to just put this into, so it's sort of resting inside this little thing of water in there. And the water, all that does is it provides heat so that the stuff in here will boil a little, so it doesn't take quite as long. So I'm going to start by just placing this in here, like this. There we go.
And we've got a lid on for safety.
And put the lid right, and then going to take some liquid nitrogen here. So probably what you want to do is move over there, because what I'm going to do is do this kind of rapidly, and then I'm going to kind of run for it. Okay. Okay, so got to make sure I do this in order. So we pour the liquid in there, not too much. We screw the lid on tight so the expanding gases have no place to go. I put it in there, and I close the lid, and it makes kind of a... Can you hear it?
Woo!
Now...
Jennifer screamed from the other room.
So I got a little water, but not too much got on your TV, so we're okay. And now you can see that...
Got a great frozen shot of that there.
Actually, so you can see what happened in the explosion was that the liquid nitrogen boiled. So again, this stuff, it turns into a gas very, very rapidly. It's like a pressure cooker, right? So imagine if you were cooking turnips, right? And then the little valve thing on top of your pressure cooker didn't go... If it just got stuck, that's what would eventually happen. You'd have turnips all over your kitchen.
All over the place.
Right.
And this is what it did to the bottle.
So this is what happened to the, and this is what happened to that little container that was underneath it full of water.
Oh, right.
So it got blowed up good, too. And so, but this thing just basically ruptured into tiny bits.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so we're going to do another experiment. We're back in half an hour.
Yes, we are.
Having fun this morning with the wise guy. Great. My nemesis. Let's check in now with Jennifer Ketchmark, who's standing by with our weather on the threes. By the way, you can always see a rebroadcast of Matt's explosions on our website, too, page.net.
All right, well, thanks, Anya. I did kind of get startled there because I wasn't expecting it to be that loud, but there was a real explosion.